Believe the stream started.
Okay.
So, they're gonna be able to hear us, but and I don't know. I don't know if I can mute it. Yeah, I can't mute it. So, oh well. I'm just gonna see if I can edit it eventually.
Mhm.
So obviously the stream can hear us. So hello stream,
Hello.
and I hope it can hear you because I'm using the computer and I'm recording off the phone. So we're just gonna hope that it can hear you.
Yeah.
Now, where is this stupid thing? I imagine I could probably edit it through.
Mark, can you hear me?
Ah, there it is. Okay. Let's make sure. Okay, yeah, I can.
Mark, can you hear me?
Yo, why is the screen so small?
There it is. Okay, Mark said yes. Okay, thank you, Lord.
Let's make sure. Okay, so the stream can hear me, but look at the screen though. It's so
Yeah,
small.
I know, but
Why is it doing that though? Oh wait, I have it on the wrong. Okay, hold on. Can I pause? I don't even. I don't think. Okay, I guess the stream's back. I think this is it right here, so we'll see. Is it better?
the stream's back.
Yep. Okay, it looks pretty good. It's not full screen, but it's almost good.
Yeah, looks good.
Better. Okay, so we're gonna quickly edit the title. This is the weirdest intro to a stream, but now I got to figure it out. So we won't have to go through this again if I ever do one of these again. So, I guess the title is gonna be. Okay, so I just put talking about for NBA free agency with Eddie. Because why not? Okay.
Yeah.
And then description. Nah, we don't need a description. Okay. Oh, there's a thumbnail. Well, I'm an idiot. I don't really have a good thumbnail. Well, crap. I didn't think about this. Yeah, crap.
Just even if it's something weird, just.
Well, right now it's a Chase Elliott car because it's been like the last one I did was for Christian stream. So yeah, let me just quickly see if I could download something on here that'll go good. See if I can download this. Oh crap. What? Yo, why does it make me? This is so stupid. Why does it make me have to like have to download the thumbnail to like change it? Well, this is the weirdest stream so far, but yeah.
Just if worse, just go with the Chase Elliott thing. Did you change the title?
Yeah.
Okay, so title, people will know what it is.
Okay, well I messed up. Yeah, I messed up the title. Oh crap. I spelled it about wrong. Okay. Okay, there we go. I'll change this in once I finish the stream. Okay, so I guess we're starting now. So, hello everybody. This is the first
Hi.
video where we're going to cover stuff about sports. I don't really know what it's called right now, so we'll think of something later. But let me get the stream up. Nobody's watching yet. That sucks. But
About sports. I don't really know
okay,
what
I gotta
it's called
pause
right
the
now, so
gotta
we'll
pause
think
the
of something
stupid
later.
stream. There we go. Okay, so yeah, nobody's watching. Great. But yeah, okay, let's get into the first thing. So which topic do you want to start with? Eddie? Are you there? Are you still there?
Yeah, but you're cutting out.
Okay. Which topic do you want to start with, like about free agency? Which one?
Well, I think we should talk about the biggest thing, which is the Nets getting their big three after having a big zero.
Yes, and this is what is on the screen right now. As you can see, there's the Kevin Durant, and then Kyrie Irving, and then DeAndre Jordan, all on the Nets jerseys, which is an amazing edit. I don't know who made it, but it's pretty cool. So, obviously Kevin Durant's going to be hurt. This isn't
Yeah.
this isn't going to be good for the Nets. They're going to have just pretty much Kyrie leading the team, and Durant left probably because he wanted to get out of Steph's shadow, which is what he said. So now he's going to be, after the first year, Kyrie's going to be carrying the team. So now this puts Kevin Durant in kind of a situation where he's going to be, when he comes back from his injury, he's going to be, like, he's not going to be the man. He's going to be, like, second to Kyrie after the first season because he'll be established as, like, the better player after the first year. So
I think it all depends on how he heals from his injury, though, because he could still come back and be just the same Kevin Durant he was with the Warriors and be so strong. There's a lot of factors, but Nets fans have a lot to be excited about now the next 2 seasons. Getting Kyrie Irving, which I know, though they had to give up D'Angelo Russell, there's some fans that were a little debating about, is Irving that big of an improvement from Russell? I think he's going to be very impressive. He's from New Jersey. He was a Nets fan growing up, so he used to go to a lot of Net games when they played in New Jersey. So I think Kyrie's going to work out well. DeAndre Jordan is a very good signing. I went to a Knicks game back in March after the Knicks had acquired DeAndre Jordan in the Porzingis trade. And even though he's getting up there and he's played now like 11, 12 years, he's still very fast for a 7'1 player, very agile, able to run the floor well, still gets those lobs like he did back with the Clippers. So the two of them plus the addition of Durant next season, plus they still have Joe Harris, Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Karuk, Jarrett Allen. Nets are going to be a good team for the next few years. I don't think this season's going to be like their biggest season. They're probably going to be mid-level, like maybe 3rd or 4th place in the East. They'll be like the Celtics were the past couple of years. But then I think once Durant comes, the combination of Durant and Kyrie could really be unstoppable.
Well, definitely, but the thing I really don't like is how they got Kyrie when he's basically just an older version of D'Angelo Russell because they have similar stats, but
They do.
they paid more for basically just an older version. Wow,
The other thing that concerns me too is Kyrie's attitude, because at the beginning of last season, the whole thing after opening night, telling all the Celtics fans, "Sign me, I want to stay," and by the end of the season, he had absolutely changed his tune. And I mean, things weren't that bad, at least from what's out that everybody knows about. They were still 4th in the East, still put up nearly a 50-win season. Nothing really went that bad for them. So I worry that Kyrie's going to be like Jimmy Butler or something, that's all excited about something new, joining a new team, and then after a while is going to sour and really is going to not really care as much anymore. And I also worry now D'Angelo Russell is going to become a stud down in Golden State.
Well, yeah, so that was a very interesting topic. So I guess we're going to move on to the next move. And I have this in no particular order. So then Kemba. He's now going to the Celtics.
I think that's a very good move because you put the 3 point guards, Russell, Kemba, and Kyrie Irving, who all shuffled teams. Kemba is right in the middle in terms of age, and I think he's right in the middle in terms of ability. I think Kemba Walker was a good choice for the Celtics. He really fills Kyrie's shoes well. Kemba finally getting to play for a competitive team because a Although Michael Jordan's been his boss down in Charlotte, the best players he really had to play with have been Nicholas Batum and Al Jefferson. So getting the opportunity now to play with Hayward and Tatum and Brown, that's still a pretty talented team, even though they lost Horford. So I think the Celtics are really going to be just as good as they were last. The only thing that I worry about with them is that they are going to need a center because now that Horford's gone, they've got Robert Williams as their center, who really didn't play that much last season. So they're a team that I could see as free agency continues, maybe go out there and try to grab center on the market, someone cheap. I don't know who that would be, but I think there are some people out there. I know Robin Lopez is still a free agent, so maybe they pick up someone like that.
I actually know. I think Robin Lopez actually. I heard somewhere that he signed with the Bucks. I don't know if that's true or not.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I saw that on a tweet. So I think now they're gonna be.
Robin Lopez is gone. Still, that doesn't really change my point much. What I think is that they can get a cheaper center that could play as a starter. There's, as people have said, this is a crazy free agency. 40% of the NBA was on the free agent block as of 6 o'clock last night. So I think there are other centers out there they could grab. As you said, Robin Lopez was taken by the Bucks. I think that's a pretty good move. But there's other players they could get out there. That's their one hole. But Kemba Walker really fills the point guard hole well after losing Kyrie.
Yeah, so Kemba's a pretty good shooter. You know, they really they needed a shooter after they got rid of Kyrie. So this will definitely help them out a lot. He's getting to play in a big market, which is not really what he was getting in Charlotte. So now I feel like he could be more of having a chance of getting farther in the playoffs. I don't know, maybe not in the first year because they only got they didn't get past the Bucks, and I felt that they'd still lose to the Bucks if they played them this year. And
right now I think there's still a few teams that are definitely better than the Celtics. I think Milwaukee. I still think Toronto is right there with them, whether or not Kawhi signs. Philadelphia, even though they lost Jimmy Butler, we'll get to the Sixers a little later, but I think they're a good team. You've got the Nets. Indiana's still solid. Now Jimmy Butler's headed to Miami. They could be a good team. East is going to be fun and competitive this season, but Boston, I think over time, as Tatum and Brown get older, Jason Tatum is still only 20 years old. So as these players get older, I think that team is going to become very skilled. Boston might even look like the team they had about 10, 15 years ago with Rondo, Pierce, Garnett. That was a good roster back then.
Okay, so again, I really don't know what the next topic is because I just made these earlier. So let's see. Malcolm Brogdon going to the Pacers. This is a pretty interesting move. And then they decide to keep Brook Lopez, and then apparently they did sign both of the Lopez brothers. And then they keep Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
So this should be very interesting for both of the teams.
Yeah, I think this was a little weird for the Bucks because the first thing they did, which you didn't mention, they also did, they brought back Chris Middleton. So
I did say that. I don't know.
Brogdon and Chris Middleton, both are wing guys. So, I mean, I guess Brogdon's spot, I think Middleton's the better player out of the two. They got some good stuff back. They got draft picks back from Malcolm Brogdon, so they can try to build a team around that. You've got Bledsoe for a long time. Of course, you've got the MVP and Giannis Antetokounmpo. You got both Lopez brothers now. So even though they gave up Brogdon, I think they got better so far through free agency. And like I said, I know as we're recording this, we're less than 24 hours in free agency. There's still a lot of good players out there. So I could see the Bucks try to make a splash move for a small forward or power forward to complement Giannis out there. But Bucks, I think that was a smart trade. And on the Pacers side, Pacers needed a guard because Darren Collison, who many thought would re-sign, retired to focus on his faith as a Jehovah's Witness. So he left, and you really need some good players to complement Miles Turner out there. And I think a combination of Turner and Brogdon, both from the same draft, I think that could work out pretty well.
Well, before I talk about this, I'd love to answer the question. Yeet is best. I don't want to assume who that is, but I mean it's one of those dogs, so it could probably either be I think Sebi or Jose because they have the dogs as the profile picture. But they said WTF is this. This is talking about free agency. So if you don't like it, then okay. But So back to the thing. Malcolm Brogdon is now playing for the Pacers, which is going to help them out a lot. Now Oladipo will have maybe better talent. I mean, he already had some decent talent, but this is probably going to help out the Pacers a lot more. Um, and then the Bucks, they re-signed some of the players, but I mean, Brogdon is a little bit younger, I believe, than Middleton, but Middleton is overall the better player. So I could
Yeah,
see why they didn't really want
Milton was
them.
an all-star, so
Yeah. But they also did get some picks back, which is definitely going to help them out for the future. So I guess we'll go on to the next thing. Again, I do not know what it is, but it is now D'Angelo Russell of the Warriors. So this is definitely an interesting thing. They, of course, had a sign and trade. So now D'Angelo Russell is going to the Warriors. So how do you feel about this?
well, first of all, it was really funny. I thought yesterday, literally 11:30 at night, this bombshell comes out of nowhere from Shams Charania saying, all of a sudden out of nowhere, the Warriors and Nets working on a sign and trade. KD is going to be a sign and trade. D'Angelo Russell is going to be involved in it. I'm like, what? Where did this come from? I thought Russell was going to either the Knicks or the Lakers. And then 5 minutes later, bam, it's happened. So, well, first off, the Nets obviously could not keep Russell. You had Kyrie Irving now. They made their choice with Irving, and they still had Spencer Dinwiddie. So, really no spot for D'Angelo Russell on that roster anymore. But for the Warriors, I don't know. To me, it seems like a weird move for them. First off, they had to get rid of Andre Iguodala. So now, who's the small forward on this team? Are they going to go big and put Draymond Green at 3? Are they going to sign some like kind of ramshackle person like a J.R. Smith or a Kyle Korver or a Danny Green? So because Klay Thompson's going to be gone most of the season, probably till the All-Star break. D'Angelo Russell is a point guard at heart, so I guess they're going to change his position. He's going to become a shooting guard, and Curry is going to be the point guard, and maybe Green at small forward, and then Looney and DeMarcus Cousins. So I don't know. To me, it's a little weird, a bit of a weird move. But the Warriors certainly, after losing Durant and also knowing that Klay Thompson is going to miss most of the season, felt like for their fan base, they needed to make some sort of a splash. But getting D'Angelo Russell, I think overall is going to benefit them. He really proved himself with Brooklyn, but I think after leading a team in Brooklyn to the playoffs, it's going to be weird for him now because Curry's the leader on that team. It's almost like they signed Russell, who has a similar role as Steph Curry, which is a little weird. So one of them's going to have to transition to a shooting guard, and Steph Curry's bringing that ball up the court for Golden State. So interesting move, but we'll see how it all turns out.
Well, I feel like that once Klay comes back, I feel like this could help them out. It won't be as impactful as when they got Durant, but you know that they're very good at, the Warriors are very good at finding good bench players. So I feel like that they will be able to find some solid players in free agency, even if they're not like amazing, but I feel like they could find some solid bench players.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the next thing, the next picture. Well, according to you, the Knicks really messed up by not getting, first off, not getting Kevin Durant or Kyrie, which is why I have this little picture here. And then they apparently overpaid on Julius Randle. I really didn't put much time into looking at what they signed him for, like how much money they signed him for, but did they overpay?
All right. So they signed Randle 3 years, $63 million. Randle's a nice player, but Randle, let's also not forget, injured his knee in his first career game and missed an entire season. So he's already was debilitated by that a bit. He did have a nice season with the Pelicans last season, but I don't know. I just think, first of all, they were not going to be able to get Kevin Durant. I hate to say it. James Dolan does not run that franchise well. They overpay for some players, just blatantly miss out on others. They let that whole Porzingis situation, which really wasn't that bad, get so out of hand that within 4 days it went from happy unicorn in New York to he's in Dallas, and they've traded away basically their whole competitive roster for Dennis Smith Jr. So I just think the Knicks, they're doing the best they can because Dolan really holds them back. Julius Randle, Reggie Bullock, Bobby Portis, Todd Gibson, Wayne Ellington have all come to New York. So that basically fills up their roster, because that'll join Knox, Alonzo Trier, Mitchell Robinson, R.J. Barrett, Dennis Smith Jr., Frank Ntilikina, and already that's 11 players, 11 of 13 that you carry. So it's just every year you get your hopes up. The Knicks, they're tanking. They're going to be able to save up. They're going to get top draft pick, and then they'll get someone in free agency. But it never happens like that. Yes, the lottery was just not lucky, and still R.J. Barrett turned out to be a very good player. But just missing out on free agency, they had Kevin Durant in their grasp. They could have really brought in Kevin Durant. Clearly, Kevin and Kyrie wanted to play in New York, but they saw a more functional, organized, stable organization in Brooklyn, and they went there and just saw the mess that is James Dolan and everything else that goes on in New York and how many different GMs they've gone through. So I think the Knicks really failed this free agency more than past years, and I think it's going to be another rough season at MSG.
Well, I think they're maybe trying to go with maybe a younger approach. Randall's not that old. He's not that young either, so he's kind of like, he has like many, many years left in his career. So, maybe they're trying to go for younger players, but I feel like this really wasn't the best decision they could have made. But
and yes, I understand going for younger players, but this was free agent of the decade. The amount of star players you had out there, Kawhi, Kyrie, KD, so many talents that you had one of the best draft classes, and you had the best free agent, and they really messed up on both, except for getting R.J. Barrett in the draft. So it's really going to be tough for them. But I understand trying to go young. I understand your point, Fisher. But in this free agency like this, where you have so many good players out there on the market, I think you have to take advantage of it.
Yeah, well, they definitely could have gotten some better players. But so I guess now, before we get into the next thing, we do have some new free agency news. It's pretty small, but it's worth going over. So Woj just tweeted that Edmund Sumner is now going to the Pacers, and Wesley Matthews is now with the Bucks. So
well, Wesley Matthews, I do stop because I just said it about 10 minutes ago that the Bucks really needed a shooting guard or small forward to complement Giannis. They got that now. Now think about that lineup. You got Brook Lopez, Giannis, Bledsoe, Middleton, and Wesley Matthews. That is one heck of a lineup. And then they got some good draft picks. They've got Robin Lopez still on the bench. They've got some other talent on that bench. So Sterling Brown, another one who really performed well later last season. So I think the Bucks are really in a good position. Wesley Matthews is a good sign.
Yeah, and last thing I believe is Frank Kaminsky is now with the Phoenix Suns, and Nerlens Noel, I don't know how to say it, finally agreed to his deal with OKC. So I guess now we're going to go to the next thing. Al Horford to Philly. How do you feel about that?
To me, this was the most puzzling. Where is Al Horford going to play? Joel Embiid is your center. Joel Embiid is your franchise player, arguably one of the two with Ben Simmons. He's not going anywhere. You're going to make Al Horford a power forward. Al Horford does not have the range. He doesn't have the athleticism to be a four. He's a center. Even though he might not be the tallest player, his build, he's meant to be down low. So unless they're going to turn him into a wing player. But the Sixers, I'm kind of worried about Philadelphia. You knew Jimmy Butler didn't want to be, and saw Miami as an opportunity to try to become the next D-Wade there. But they just let J.J. Redick walk to the Pelicans. I would have made a little more effort to try to get him, because right now, your only shooter on this team, because they traded Landry Shamet at the trade deadline, they traded Covington in the trade for Jimmy Butler. So now, your only real shooter is Josh Richardson, who was a nice player, but he was a role player with Miami, who played shooting guard and point guard, and Dwayne Wade really able to play as many minutes. So their starting lineup now, it looks like they're going to have Tobias Harris, who's a power forward at the 3. They're going to have a center in Horford at the 4. Embiid is the center. Ben Simmons is point guard. He's really got to work on that jump shot. And Josh Richardson is the shooting guard. That doesn't really scare me as that good of a team. Brett Brown showed in the playoffs that he was a little shaky as the coach. And then, of course, the emotions, especially with Embiid, really have to get under control. All the technical fouls, cheap shots, and stuff. So I was iffy on this move. Al Horford finds a good home, finds a competitive team, but I just think it would have been smarter for him to go to a team where he could have been the main center and not really have to adjust to playing power play.
Well, when you covered that lineup, that really does not sound good. I mean, they have some talented players, but it's not as good as I think last year's team. So they'll definitely have to try and maybe improve. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year in free agency because they really, all the really bigger players are signed. They can still maybe get a smaller player, but not like a huge player. So, I believe I deleted the picture for Jimmy Butler. So I guess now we're just gonna cover it with Al Horford on the screen. So how do you feel about he is officially for the Heat, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
so how we're able to Goran Dragic now. Butler.
You cut out.
He is in Miami.
Okay, so do you like the trade? Because I mean, I think it'll definitely help them out.
We already talked about this perspective. Miami, I think, great move. Losing Dwayne Wade, and I think Butler. I know Butler can be a little wild at times. Now he's really trying to force his way out of three places: out of Chicago because he was sick of Tom Thibodeau, Minnesota because he was sick of Tom Thibodeau again, and now Philadelphia seems to just be a little short stop before the next part of his career. I think, though, this could be a successful move for Miami because, players want to go live on South Beach, live down in South Florida. Jimmy Butler, definitely not this offseason, but maybe in the coming off seasons, could attract some free agents to come down to Miami and make the Heat a powerhouse again. But just for now, they traded Hassan Whiteside to make some room, and they got Harkless and Myers Leonard. So now you got a lineup next year of Tyler Johnson, Goran Dragic, Jimmy Butler, Myers Leonard, and Mo Harkless. That's not that bad, and they've got a solid bench too. So, and they also still have Justice Winslow, Bam Adebayo. So I like this Heat team, and I think this is a good move.
Yeah, well, they may be. I don't know. They could make the playoffs. It's kind of hard right now. To determine that because there's definitely gonna be lots of good teams.
Yeah, there's a lot of good teams. It's most obvious that we're playoff. Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston, Brooklyn, Philadelphia. That's 5 already in right now. I think the Pacers with a healthy Victor Oladipo could be the 6th seed. And then that's when it gets interesting. I don't think the Knicks are a playoff team. Orlando stinks. Chicago stinks. Atlanta could be better. I think Atlanta could be decent. Charlotte's going to be awful. So that really turns it into Miami fighting with Atlanta, the Pacers, maybe the Knicks, maybe Washington for a playoff spot. So it's just going to be interesting to see what happens. But I think it's possible that they sneak in.
Okay, so I don't know really what the next thing we're going to cover is. And yeah, okay, it's Iguodala to the Grizzlies. So this is definitely going to help out their lineup.
Mm-hmm. I like this Grizzlies team, to be honest. Now, this is barring Andre Iguodala leaving, because there's been rumors that Iguodala wants to carry out now, get his contract dropped and get released, and then he could go and sign with someone else, maybe the Lakers, to be a role player on that team. But if he stays, I like Memphis as a possible playoff team. I think John Morant is going to transition very well to the NBA. He's coming from a mid-major school, just like Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, CJ McCollum, and he plays a very similar style, except he also has the hops to be able to dunk, which is an asset none of them have, and they've turned into star players. So you can only imagine the potential for him. Jaren Jackson Jr. was solid and got like third or fourth in Rookie of the Year voting. He just missed out on being a finalist behind Ayton. So that's a good backcourt. If you keep Iggy as the small forward. You'll have Jonas Valanciunas, Michael Green. That's not a bad team. That's a team with the West kind of down, the Rockets in dysfunction, the Warriors with injuries, the Clippers, if they don't get Kawhi, are going to be a mess. Sacramento's still bad. Minnesota is absolutely awful aside from Karl-Anthony Towns. So I think there's an opportunity for Memphis to get into the playoffs.
Okay, yeah, they're definitely a lot better. I mean, this doesn't bring as much, but they definitely signed a few decent free agents. I believe they got somebody earlier. I don't remember exactly who it was.
They got somebody else. I can't think of them off the top. Did get it.
But yeah, this will really help them out. They could make the playoffs. I mean, again, the West isn't amazing, so it's definitely going to be a lot easier. But it's not going to be like a cakewalk. They're not just going to get in guaranteed.
Yeah.
But I forgot what the next thing was. But okay, let's figure it out. And it's okay. I don't know why you wanted to cover this, but we'll go over JJ Redick.
Yeah, well, I think that's another team. The Pelicans. I think the Pelicans and the Grizzlies could be the two surprise teams. The Pelicans more so because David Griffin has done so much now with this New Orleans team. First off, they get Zion in the draft. They get DeAndre Hunter via the draft as well. They keep Jrue Holiday. You get Lonzo in the trade. You get Brandon Ingram. You get Josh Hart. And now you have J.J. Redick. The one thing this team was missing was veterans because you had a lot of different personalities. You had Zion. You had Lonzo. You had LeVar Ball coming in there. Brandon Ingram. So you needed some sort of another veteran presence aside from Jrue Holiday because Jrue Holiday is a great player but doesn't have that much leadership because he has been overshadowed all these years by Anthony Davis, and the team really hasn't had that much playoff experience in his time. He's been on bad Sixer teams and bad Hornet Pelican teams. So getting J.J. Redick, who has been in the playoffs every single year of his career. I saw this statistic during the postseason. His time in Dallas, they made the playoffs every year. When he was with the Clippers, that was when they had their big three of Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Chris Paul. And then, of course, his 2 years with the Sixers, they both made it to the postseason both years. So adding a presence like him, he's a good shooter. He helps complement, maybe stabilize Lonzo Ball, bringing the ball up. And then you still have Jrue Holiday. Be interesting to see how they work out the lineup. Then you got Hunter as the three, Zion in there. This is going to be a good lineup, but I think the Pelicans sneak into the playoffs in the West.
Yeah, well, this definitely is going to... they're going to now have more of a veteran with Redick. He can shoot the ball, so if they're kind of in a late game situation and maybe they don't have the best shooter, you could put Redick in, and maybe that would help them out late. But I really don't have anything bad to say about this. This will help them out a lot. They may, again, it's kind of like that Heat situation where they may make the playoffs, but they're kind of got new guys. So you don't really know. There's really nobody that other than maybe Jrue Holiday that's really returning. So it could be tough.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for them to mesh. Like I said, Redick will help that. It's still going to be hard to get into the playoffs in the West. Just because the Warriors are down doesn't mean the West overall is any. Golden State's still going to make the playoffs. Lakers are going to be in the playoffs. That's already 2 teams that are given. If the Clippers get Kawhi, they're in. I still think they could sneak in even if they don't have Kawhi. Houston's going to figure things out. The Spurs always, no matter what their roster is, they're able to grind out 50. Donovan Mitchell in the Jazz. You got Lillard. The Trailblazers got a lot better. And then you got Porzingis, Doncic, and that's already 8 teams in the West. If the Clippers get Kawhi, I don't really know if the Pelicans can get into the postseason. And I didn't even mention the Oklahoma City Thunder and Russell Westbrook. Suddenly that's 9 competitors. And then you've got Memphis and New Orleans right around the cusp. So I think it's going to be like the last couple seasons. Not really last season, but 2 years ago, there was a point, towards the end of the season, where 3 through 8, 3 through 10, actually, in the Western Conference were separated by 4 games. I think the West is going to be very competitive. It's not really going to be a clear super team unless the Lakers get Kawhi. I think there's going to be a lot of teams hovering around between like 46 to 50 wins that are going to be fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah. Okay, so that was pretty much the last picture. Let me see if I got anything else that I kind of wanted to talk about. Do I have the picture that I wanted? Yes, there it is. So I really want to talk about the Lakers, as y'all get to see a bunch of my pictures on the phone. But I really want to talk about the Lakers, because obviously I'm a Lakers fan, and I kind of want to get your take on how they're doing so far.
Well, I was worried about the thing, Magic walking. First of all, this team is the most complicated front office I've ever seen on a professional sports team. Who is running this show? You've got LeBron, you've got LeBron's agent. You've got Rob Pelinka, you've got Magic, you've got Jeanie Buss, you have Mitch Kupchak. That's like 6 people that are all running the show here in LA.
You forgot Kurt Rambis. You forgot him too.
Oh, yeah. Yep, that's 7. So, nonetheless, there's a little. I was worried that they were even going to be able to get this Anthony Davis trade done because remember, in February, they offered literally the same thing minus a pick to the Pelicans, and the Pelicans said no. The trade that ended up happening last week was almost identical to what they offered at the trade deadline. I guess the Pelicans. Yeah, but I want to be honest. For all the dysfunction the have. They have had a very good offseason. Frank Vogel is one of the most underrated coaches, I think, in all of the NBA. He is, I really have always liked him. He was with the Pacers, when he was with the Magic, didn't really have that good, but Magic, I do know Pat Williams. He was on my radio show. He is a very smart guy, and he was talking about on my high school radio show how he loved having Frank Vogel when he was coach there, how he really helps get the most out of players. He's a good coach. He's not just a figurehead. Lakers now have Anthony Davis. They've got LeBron. They were able to keep Kuzma. Well, I think between Kuzma, Lonzo, and Ingram, I think he's the best out of the 3. He's the highest potential. Even if he was the lowest player, maybe coming out of the draft out of them, I think he's the most. If they get Kawhi, I think that then they might lock up a championship right there. If they don't worry, Fisher. I think they're still going to be a good team. You've got LeBron, AD, Kyle Kuzma. Rondo likely will come back on a vet's minimum to be the point guard. And then you fill it out with veterans. Would Iguodala decide to come? Maybe he will. You could have him, J.R. Smith, Kyle Cooper. I'd also watch out for Carmelo Anthony. He's still out there. He's always said he wanted to play with LeBron. Remember, they both went to Brooklyn to go see Dwayne Wade's last game. So I think the Lakers, overall, for all the issues they have had a pretty good. I think you could be optimistic that they'll end their playoff draft.
Yeah, so sometimes it really sucks to be a Lakers fan, and obviously not about what kind of you're going through right now. So, you are a Knicks fan, right?
Yeah, well, I'll just tell you quickly. Like the Nets, then after they left New Jersey, I kind of soured on them. Then they went to Brooklyn because then the games were further away, and then you had to go to New York City, and it was so hard. So then I was a Knicks fan for a while, but I've realized how just dysfunctional that whole organization is. The whole thing, remember when Charles Oakley was there and got into a fist fight with James Dolan in the stands? So I hover right now between the Knicks and the Nets. I don't really know which team I'm going to cheer for. It's kind of weird. I kind of cheer for both of them in a way because I just want to see a New York sports team. But yeah, as a Knicks fan, in some ways, I feel it. Yeah, I know how to feel, Fisher, with those Lakers. The Lakers, this past half decade, really been a mess.
Well, I lost what I was going to say, but I know that I was really kind of upset because I felt like we were going to get D'Angelo Russell. I don't know why that they were even thinking about getting him back because I don't think he would want to come back because of the problem that would have happened was Magic said that I think he was like not much of a leader or something like that, or that
was part of it. The whole other thing, Nick Young, something about that he wanted to divorce Iggy Azalea or something, and then it's like the big like TMZ episode there, and that was part of the thing also.
Yeah, I don't know, and then like I just don't think he would have wanted to come back, so you really couldn't get Russell. And the Kawhi's still available, but then like if they get Kawhi, they'll pretty much have to fill it out with guys that are like playing on a minimum contract. So
Yeah, there's going to be like if they get Kawhi, the bench is just going to be a bunch of, which I don't know if they really want. But where do you think Kawhi's going to land?
well, I don't know why you would really want to leave Toronto after winning a ring. That's just my personal opinion. But oh, Jarrett wants to join. Jarrett, no. Maybe I may talk about Chicagoland. Oh, put an opinion. Should we let Jarrett join?
Well, yeah, I got to go in a so I
Okay,
just
well,
wanted to-
whenever you leave, I guess I'll let him join for just like a few minutes. But let's talk about D'Angelo Russell then something. Oh yeah, Kawhi. I feel like that maybe he could go to the Clippers, which is now what I'm gonna put up. I got this whole picture because John wanted me to make this, so now got a new background. So Kawhi, obviously, he could go to the Clippers. This is probably where he will go, unless he wants to re-sign with Toronto, because he likes LA. I'm pretty sure he's from there. I know he's from California.
Yeah, he's from Southern Cal.
So okay, Jared apparently watches NBA, so we'll let him in for like 5 minutes later once you leave. But this is definitely going to be interesting. If Kawhi goes to LA, either way, either LA team, this will really help out both of the teams. I mean, it could hurt the Lakers because then we'll have to fill out the roster with pretty bad players because we don't have much money to spend. But the Clippers, they could use a really big star. They didn't get Kevin Durant, which is apparently what John thought because he made me make some Kevin Durant thing with the Clippers. But now they have solid depth. I believe Lou Will's still there.
Yeah.
And then they re-signed
They
Pat Bev.
re-signed Pat Bev.
So that's gonna help out this team a lot if they can get Kawhi. And now after having they won 2 games against Golden State, which is definitely gonna they could use that to try and attract Kawhi to come to the Clippers, because that's definitely a selling point, saying that we can beat really good teams.
But it's so funny when I look at the Los Angeles Clippers roster. You know what I see? The Toronto Raptors about 12 months ago. They've got Patrick Beverley, comparable in a way to Kyle Lowry. You've got some bigs. If they bring back Boban, he adds a good center presence. And then there's just a lot of guys in there that, like the Raptors, they're like underrated players. Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam. And then with the Clippers, you've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Landry Shamet. Other talents around. Lou Williams, obviously, who's made a name, infamous Sixth Man of the Year candidate almost every year that he's been with the Clippers. And let's not forget, they have, I think, the second best coach in the NBA, right? The third best coach behind Popovich and Steve Kerr in Doc Rivers, who has stuck with them even through the hard times because they trust him as a good coach. And I don't see why Kawhi wouldn't take this opportunity. What puzzles me is him going to the Lakers, because he does not seem like the guy who wants to be in with all the superstars. There is this clique in the NBA of certain players: LeBron, Durant, Kyrie, Dwayne Wade when he was still playing, Carmelo, Chris Paul. It's these crew of players that all want to join together. Big stuff. And then you have the outsiders, who are ironically the ones who did the best left. Giannis, Harden, Kawhi Leonard. These are people that aren't necessarily interested in, oh, we got to go to the nice city. We get free 60 games in the championship. So I just don't see him fitting well. I think the best fit would be to stay in Toronto. Look to me, just Southern California's version of the 2000.
Well, you're cutting out, but I get what you meant. So, when do you have to go? Because I've got one more thing.
I'll stick around for this last thing.
Okay, this apparently just came up. So, Enes Kanter, however you say his name, I assume I said it right, is now going to Boston off of a 2-year, $10 million deal. He said that they only gave him 6 minutes, the Blazers did, to decide his future with Portland. So this is kind of weird that they didn't give him much time, and by the way, this screen is with the Clippers, but oh well, because I can't, I don't have a picture of Cantor, so that's the problem there. But do you think that this is kind of weird that the Blazers didn't give him much time, and now he's going to Boston?
Yeah, so first things first, remember, Portland just traded for him. They have their center, so I don't think they were that interested in keeping Cantor. I think overall Whiteside's the better player because Cantor, not only does he get into a lot of fights in court, he also has a lot of stuff in his background with Turkey. Remember last summer where he was detained in Turkey because of some suspected terrorism thing, and he had to stay in a Turkish airport for a few days. So I don't know if teams really want to commit. The Knicks had him for a couple years and then decided to stray away. Portland had him for the playoff run last season, but I just don't see him fitting in for a multi-year deal because Jusuf Nurkic is going to get back eventually, and they have Whiteside, so that's two big, strong presences that they have. Cantor doesn't really fit. But also, he went to Boston, you said, right?
Yes.
Now, this is the second news that has been broken in the midst of this live stream, where we've been talking about something that needs to be done, and it's actually happened. I was talking about how the Bucks needed a wing player. 20 minutes later, they signed Wesley Matthews. I was saying the one hole Celtics team was that they didn't have a good center because Robert Williams was currently lined up to be the center. And what did they do? They do exactly as I said. A short deal with someone kind of hovering below the radar on the market in Enes Kanter. And now having Kanter on that team adds a little more feistiness to the roster.
You
have
keep
to go
cutting out.
guys. But Kemba, Jason Tatum, and now Kanter thrown in there.
You're cutting out, Eddie. But I have the next thing.
Well, anyway, I gotta subscribe to W Network and wish Trip happy.
Okay, so you're cutting out, but bye, I guess. Okay, so I'm gonna get Jared in here for like 5 minutes, but the last thing, since Eddie's not here, I'm just gonna talk about myself. So now Jimmy Butler, the trade is official. He is now with the Miami Heat. The Clippers are added as a fourth team in the trade that also includes Philadelphia and Portland. So that was small news, but it's kind of important, so we're just going to talk about it. So now apparently Jarrett wants to join the voice chat, so we'll get him in here. So y'all will get to stare at Jimmy Butler in a Heat jersey. And we'll go ahead and try to get Jarrett in here. So, definitely make sure... Oh, I waited too long? Okay, well, what do you want to say? What do you want to say, Jarrett? Oh, are you here?
Oh, I waited too long. Okay, well, what do you want to say?
Hello.
What do you wanna say?
I'm echoing, so...
There is no way in the actual fact that if you are Kawhi Leonard, you are going to leave Toronto. You just won a championship, and you have a very good team still.
Okay.
Why would he leave is my opinion.
No, I can see why you're right. They won. But I think he kind of wants to be closer to his hometown, which is definitely a smart move because, you want to be close to your family, spend time, and just but you're wanting to win a championship.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I get you want to be with family, but if you're more one of those basketball players that love being on top and winning championships, I don't know if the Clippers are going to be the way to go.
But I think he's trying to win a championship for his home, for his state. LeBron went back to Cleveland to win them a championship. I feel like that's what he's going to try to do. So that's why he wants to go to LA. Or, he could stay in Toronto. But, they really didn't make any free agency moves. They still pretty much have the same guys. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like it's either way.
If there was anybody that he's going to join, I get Clippers. Because like you're saying, it's his hometown area. They're getting better. But, yeah. That's all I really want to say.
Okay. Well, bye. Okay, so that is it. The live stream was definitely interesting. Lots of news. So, of course, stuff happened during the live stream, which is definitely going to help out certain teams. And, this is definitely going to be a routine thing where we talk about important news in sports. So, next thing we talk about, maybe Chicagoland. Don't know if I want to talk about Chicagoland or not. I mean, my boy Alex Bowen just won. So, yeah. Don't have any pictures of Alex right now. So, actually, wait, hold on. I may. Yeah, there we go. Let's just talk about Alex winning for a little bit. To end this, if you're an NBA fan and you came here for, NBA stuff, sorry, we're gonna just end off with this. So, of course, Alex won Chicagoland. My boy, been waiting for so long for him to finally win. Finally came through. And that was an amazing finish with Kyle Larson. And Larson definitely tried, so that was really good. Really good job by him. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy about this. The next live stream that we will do will include the rest of free agency. If there's any important stuff, probably Kawhi is what we'll cover, and of course Daytona. We're gonna have to talk about that. But yeah. So I know the thumbnail's a Chase Elliott car, but I am a big Alex Bowman fan. I use that for someone else's stream. So yeah. So I hope y'all have an amazing day. And I guess we'll see you next time. Don't know how to really end this stream. I guess I just hit this button. Okay, bye.